Qualitative Research, a minor project by Ashley Rombs. What is qualitative research? John Cresswell provides a comprehensive definition for qualitative research in his book, Qualitative Inquiry and Research Design, choosing among the 5 approaches. Quote, qualitative research begins with assumptions and the use of interpretive theoretical frameworks that inform the study of research problems addressing the meaning individuals or groups ascribe to a social or human problem. To study this problem, qualitative researchers use an emerging qualitative approach to inquiry, the collection of data in a natural setting sensitive to the people and places under study, and data analysis that is both inductive and deductive and establishes patterns or themes. The final written report or presentation includes voices of participants, the reflexivity of the researcher, a complex description and interpretation of the problem, and its contribution to the literature or a call for change, end quote. Now that we have a definition, let us delve into the 5 approaches of qualitative research. The 5 approaches are narrative, phenomenology, grounded theory, ethnography, and case study. Let us take a brief look at each approach. Narrative approach focuses on humans, the life of an individual or a group of individuals. As you may suppose, it relates to telling stories gleaned from the data. Interviews and other documents are used to collect data. The next approach, phenomenology, relates to communicating an experience. An important keyword in this approach is essence. The study subjects and the data will share the essence of a shared experience. Grounded theory is our third approach. This approach begins with data and seeks to create a theory grounded in that data. In order to collect data for this approach, interviews can be used from larger amounts of participants compared to the first 2 approaches. Our 4th approach is ethnography. As you may suspect from the root word, this approach relates to describing and interpreting a culture-sharing group. Ethnography seeks to reveal shared themes and patterns of a particular culture. The last approach in qualitative research is the case study. Case study may be used to analyze programs or events. It may compare cases and find themes while using documents, interviews, program materials, and observations. Now that we have a qualitative research definition and knowledge of the approaches, let's delve into the methods of qualitative research. There are several methods in this discipline, but we will review 3 of them here today. The first method I would like to discuss is focus group. When using this method, the researcher begins with the research question and then assembles a group of 5 to 15 people. The group then discusses topics related to the research question, and that provides the researcher with the data for the study. Next, we will look at the research method of ethnographic observation. This method takes a deep level of commitment. In order to study participants, the researcher must live amongst the group for a minimum of several months. According to Ashley Crossman, this allows researchers to, quote, experience day-to-day existence from the viewpoints of those studied, to develop in-depth and long-term accounts for the community, events, and trends under observation, end quote. Let's move on to our last research method. The final method we will talk about in this presentation is content analysis. The content within content analysis is music, arts, films, documents, and media, including social media. The research analyzes the content and the context in order to understand culture. Now that we have a brief idea of a few research methods, let us look at how data can be analyzed and interpolated in qualitative research. Once data is collected in a qualitative study, it must be analyzed. The researcher begins by organizing the data and looking for themes. The themes are then arranged into a format to be shared with others, such as an image, a table, or a journal article. Since there is more than one method of inquiry, there are other ways of analysis. We will briefly look at text analysis. According to Question Pro, text analysis is a data analysis method that is distinctively different from all other qualitative research methods, where researchers analyze the social life of the participants in the research study and decode the words, actions, etc., end quote. Now that we have an idea of what qualitative research is, the methods associated with it, and how to analyze it, let's discuss the interpolation of qualitative research. According to J.F. Stephenson in his book, Interpolation is a procedure that assists in, quote, reading between the lines in a set of tables by constructing new data from existing points, end quote. After listening to Dr. Paul Carr converse with my classmates in EDCO 800, I believe interpolation is also connected to looking for new connections and making new assumptions with the data that has been collected. I hope you have enjoyed my presentation. Thank you for listening. You will find references on the final slide.